Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. My name is Marwa Qaid Ali and I'm a member of Alfaisal MedHub under International Office at Alfaisal University in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And I'm absolutely delighted to be your host for today. For those of you who are new to Alfaisal MedHub, it is an initiative that comes under the umbrella of International Office that aims at creating a global online community of medical students. Alfaisal MedHub covers a broad range of topics that are common to medical students all around the world. Our primary objective is to help students learn more about the career opportunities that are available to them after graduating, as well as the steps involved in pursuing them. Since most medical students are uncertain of the path that's ahead of them, Alfaisal MedHub addresses this challenge from the perspective of accomplished and from the perspective of accomplished and experienced seniors. To kick off our thrilling new series, CGS UAE, we will be presenting an engaging introductory webinar titled Introduction to the United Arab Emirates Residency Pathway and Overview of the Emirates Residency Entrance Examination. This pathway will shed light on the various milestones of pursuing residency in the United Arab Emirates and especially cater to graduates that are aiming to go to the UAE. And now, please allow me to introduce to you our speakers for today. So we have Dr. Elhaitham Ahmed, an alumnus of the College of Medicine at Alfaisal University. He is currently a postgraduate year 4 senior emergency medicine resident at Zayed Military Hospital in Abu Dhabi, UAE. His interests include POCUS and medical simulation. Dr. Dalal Alhaffar, an alumna of the 9th batch of the College of Medicine at Alfaisal University. She is currently a postgraduate year 1 emergency medicine resident at Rashid Hospital in Dubai, UAE. Dr. Ahmed Hisham, an alumnus of the 9th batch at the College of Medicine at Alfaisal University, and he's currently a postgraduate year 1 internal medicine resident at the Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Sciences. Thank you so much, doctors, for joining us today, and we're really looking forward to this exciting webinar. You are welcome to start whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much, Marwa, for the great introduction, and thank you for the International Office as a whole for giving us this opportunity to speak today. We're going to be sharing the screen, Dr. Elhaitham.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And again, thank you for the opportunity. Welcome to Dubai and the UAE pathway, inshallah. This is something that we have been, I personally have been trying to arrange with Alfaisal MedHub. But alhamdulillah, with the more of us in the UAE, now we can speak strongly about the our experience and the pathway into getting in. I have two lovely colleagues with me today, Dr. Ahmed and Dr. Dalal, and inshallah throughout this we will be sharing with you our experience, how to get in, and the hope out of all of this is to get as much as possible of you lucky ones, inshallah, into the UAE as residents in various specialties. So with that, we will, I'll turn the mic to my colleagues to kind of give a brief, and then inshallah we'll share from there. Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to share my experience and to share my experience in how to get admitted and accepted in Mohammed bin Rashid University Internal Medicine Residency Training Program. It's a very amazing journey, and it was kind of competitive, but inshallah ta'ala, everyone will get what he wants at the end. So I hope that you enjoy this talk, inshallah.
All right, Assalamualaikum once again. I'm Dalal Alhaffar, graduate of 9th batch. I'm currently PGY1, emergency medicine resident at Rashid Hospital, Dubai. And I'll be starting the presentation. Inshallah, Dr. Elhaitham and Dr. Ahmed will carry on the rest of the presentation. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, we're going to talk about UAE residency pathways. Basically, in Emirates, we have 4 residency pathways. Almost each Emara or each city has its own pathway under it. So, pathway number 1, which is the Dubai Health pathway, previously known as MBRU, which is Mohammed bin Rashid University in collaboration with Dubai Health. This is the pathway that me and Dr. Ahmed are accepted under. This is Dubai. This covers Dubai governmental hospitals that have residency program in Dubai. Briefly, this is the barcode of the or QR code for the link of MBRU, which is the site you apply to the residency through. And these are the major points that it requires. So first, and I think most attractive thing for Saudi graduates is that this pathway accepts the SMLE Saudi Medical Licensing Exam or the Emirati Medical Residency Entrance Exam. So you have the option to apply through your SMLE. It only accepts TOEFL or IELTS for English. It doesn't accept the OET. Unfortunately, it doesn't accept it anymore. Last year, they used to accept it. And then the requirements, they are very similar. The portfolio or the CV requirements are very similar to the Saudi Council for Health Specialties. So if you have previously applied to Saudi residency programs, you already have majority of the requirements. It requires something that's called ECE report, which we will talk in details later about it. And the application fees itself is 650 dirhams. This is the first pathway. This is their contact email if you need to contact them for any further information. The second pathway is the Abu Dhabi pathway or Department of Health, previously known as Tansiq or MED. So if you see any of these names, this is the same pathway. This pathway only accepts the Emirati Medical Residency Entrance Exam. It accepts OET or TOEFL or IELTS for the English requirements. It requires data flow from the beginning of the process. And it only accepts a minimum MBRU score of 75% and above. And the fees are also the same, 650 dirhams. This covers the Abu Dhabi and Al Ain hospitals that have residency programs only. So the previous one covers Dubai, the governmental hospitals. This is for Abu Dhabi hospitals. And then this is their contact. And then we're going to go to the third pathway, which covers this one, which covers the DHA, which covers the Dubai private hospitals. So there are several hospitals in Dubai that are private that have residency programs. And this pathway accepts MRI only. It accepts OET, IELTS or TOEFL for the English requirements. It requires data flow from the beginning of the process. There's no minimum MBRU score that is a must for you to be able to apply. As long as you pass the exam, they don't require a specific score to be able to start the application. The hospitals are Faqih University Hospital, American Hospital, Saudi German Hospital, Prime Hospital, Midgate Hospital, Astor Hospital, and Sulaiman Habib Hospital. Not all hospitals have all specialties. And I'm not aware of all of the specialties that, for example, Faqih University Hospital, I don't know which specialties they offer or they have, but you can contact each hospital alone to know further about what are the specialties available under their programs. The fees is also 650, and this is the contact email of the DHA. The fourth pathway is I personally don't know anyone who got accepted there. The seats are kind of limited in comparison to other seats, but it's a pathway that you can always try. It's the Ministry of Health or EHS. EHS stands for Emirates Health Society, I think, Dr. Elhaitham, right? Which EHS, I think.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to also kind of break the ice, meanwhile, you'll have a lot of QR codes that Dalal honestly worked really hard on. While she's explaining, I advise you all to kind of just go on, have a look at whatever it is. I know every and each one of these pathways is a little bit difficult to understand as in total, but just keep up, and inshallah we will meanwhile we will try to explain the most important ones in every and each detail. Go on, Dalal.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. And another point to add, this lecture might be heavy, but keep in mind 2 points. It's an orientation more of, it's not, the target is an orientation of the whole pathway. It's kind of new, it's kind of vague. So the main target is to just to introduce you to the pathway. This is number one. Number two, we're going to leave our contacts. If you need any further questions, specific questions, you can email us at any time. Now for the fourth pathway, which is the Ministry of Health, which covers Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah, and Sharjah. It only accepts MRI, doesn't accept OET, for the English requirement, only TOEFL or IELTS. Pathway details aren't very clear. However, they have a website, doesn't have many seats. I'm not sure about the exact number of seats, but it doesn't have as as huge seats as other pathways. The fees are 650 again, and I think I left the contact. Yeah, this is the email, the contact email that you can ask them through. So now we had a fast introduction about the 4 pathways in Emirat. We will be going through EMRI exam now, also a quick introduction about it. Then we will go through Dubai Health pathway, and then Department of Health, which covers Dubai, governmental hospitals, and then Department of Health covers Abu Dhabi hospitals. Moving on to EMRI exam, which is Emirates Medical Residency Entrance Exam. It's 120 MCQs exam. Dates are usually December till March of each year. The passing score is 55%. Location, it's only held at UAEU, which is UAE University, which is in Al-Ain. So you cannot do it any other place. The fees is 1,000 dirhams. I think with the VAT it's 1,050. And then the registration is only under the website NIHS, National Institute of Health Specialties. And actually there are 2 YouTube channels which talked about how to prepare, the resources you should use. Can you press Dr. Elhaitham one more time? Yeah, I put the numbers of, the names of the YouTube channels, which you can check to check the resources and how to prepare for the exam itself. Yes, and this is the NIHS pathway website. In order to register for the exam, you have to first of all go to the website, create an account, and then fill in your information and apply for eligibility. This step is free. It takes 2 to 5 days in order for you to be to make sure that you're fit or eligible to do the exam. After that, once the eligibility is you receive the eligibility, you can apply to the exam. You check the dates, and then you pay the fees, and you can apply to the exam itself. Yes, next. Thank you. All right, now we're gonna move towards the first pathway, which we will talk in details about. The first pathway is Dubai Health, previously known as MBRU. It's actually a collaboration between Mohammed bin Rashid University and Dubai Health. It's under Dubai Health Authority. Can you press? All right, we will speak about the timeline, the eligibility criteria, the documents needed, and then the selection process itself. So this is the timeline for this year. So for this cycle that opened, it opened January 22nd, so it's now open. It will be closed by 22nd of March. The online application deadline is 22nd of March. And then after that, starting from April till June, the other stages of filtration will be starting. So the shortlisting will be starting. After that, the MMI, which is multiple mini interviews, then the specialty interviews, then the cross-matching, and then at the end, October 1st, if you're accepted, you're going to start your residency during that time, inshallah. So now it's opened since last week, almost since 10 days ago, and then it will be opened till 22nd of March.
And I just would like to emphasize that Dalal really insisted, and I'd like to thank the Alfaisal Medical Hub again and the international office for really providing us the time, because we really insisted on giving the talk just and the orientation about the UAE pathways in the correct time for you guys to have a chance to enter the next session for the current interns. So this timeline is precious in terms of this March. You know, the end of March is something that, end of March of each year is something that you look forward to, that everything you need to prepare is ready. And as you can notice, I just see that part October 1st compared to what I will be talking about, inshallah, later on. I'll move on to the next point.
All right, moving on to the eligibility criteria. So the eligibility is divided into academic criteria and English criteria. So the academic criteria is having a bachelor degree in medicine from a recognized college listed under the WHO Directory of Approved Health Institutions, meeting the internship training requirements. If you're still an intern, I think you can get a letter from the university itself that you're still an intern, and you should contact the MBRU themselves through the email that I listed above to check on what's the process of actually applying while you're still an intern. What they basically need is, up to my knowledge, is that it's a letter that just states that you will be finishing your internship, for example, during August 2024. So they just want to make sure that by the start of the residency program itself, you have obtained your internship certificate. So meeting the internship training requirements, this is one point. Then typically candidates should be graduates of within 5 years of from med school. And candidates should not have been out of clinical practice for more than 2 years at any point from after the graduation. Yes, Ahmed? You wanted to add something?
Sorry. No. It's continue. Sorry. I just have it off.
No worries. Passing a post-qualifying residency entrance exam. So you need to have either the Saudi medical licensing exam or the MRI. There is no minimum score needed. So a passing grade passing, which means above 55 for MRI and I think above 60 for SMLE, gives you the chance to apply. For IMGs, the Educational Credential Evaluator, general grade with average evaluation, is required to evaluate the transcript and have a standard GPA. Dr. Ahmed will talk about how to do this paper and the details about it, inshallah, later on during this lecture. Enrollment in the program is subjective to successfully completing the Dubai Health Authority licensing process. If you've reached this point, then inshallah, from the application process and the filtration process and everything, then you will need to actually go and apply for licensing in Dubai itself, health license in Dubai, which we will inshallah talk about later for people who inshallah gets accepted. Next, the English criteria. So for this year, there were some changes. They removed the OET. They don't accept it anymore. They accept IELTS and TOEFL. And the EMSAT, what I got is that this is only for UAE graduates. So for IMGs, there's nothing to do for EMSAT. So we will focus on IELTS and TOEFL. So they listed the minimum grades that are accepted. For IELTS, the overall score should be 6 or more. Single certificate to be submitted. Combined scores are not accepted. I'm not really aware of IELTS itself. I've never done it, so I don't know what it means. Graduates of UAE universities are exempted from the certificate. Okay. TOEFL, minimum of 80 is required. BBT, I think this is the online version, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but it's not accepted. Yes, so this is basically it. If you're a native English speaker, then you can try contacting the PGME themselves through their email and ask them if you can be exempted from the English requirement. A letter from our university, for example, Alfaisal, that states that we study everything in English isn't enough for us to be exempted from the exam. So we have to do the English exams in order to apply. Moving on to the documents. So we have identification documents. They need a recent colored photo, a valid passport copy, and if you have an Emirati ID or residency permit, then you have to also attach it. For the license, if you have a license, then you have to upload it also to your application process. For the license, they mean the MRI or SMLE exam. So you have to have the statement that you have done MRI or SMLE exam. And if you have a license, for example, if you're a graduate of Saudi and you already did license, so you have to upload it. This was my part. I'm going to leave you now with Dr. Ahmed Hisham to proceed with the DH pathway. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dalal. Hi again. So for the documents, Dr. Elhaitham, can you please
Ahmed,
Okay.
if you don't mind, I just want to encourage people, if you have any questions, please share them on
Okay.
the question box. And inshallah, after the part where Dr. Ahmed finishes the Dubai Health Pathway, we will stop for a short period of time to take a couple of questions regarding what have been presented before we go along with the DOH pathway. So
Yeah,
just
that
whatever
sounds good.
questions you have, please type them and we will allow you even to speak, inshallah, after Dr. Ahmed's part. We will move on and continue with the documents and the EC evaluation.
Okay, so for the academic documents, they need the undergraduate degree certificate and undergraduate academic transcript plus the internship certificate. For those who are currently interns, you can ask your dean or dean College of Medicine. They provide like a temporary certificate or a letter that's stating your expected day of graduation. So you can apply with that. But for those who already have graduated, like are practicing as general practitioner or doing postgraduate studies like master or something, they can apply with the undergraduate degree certificate. So if you are still an intern, it's okay. Just ask your college for the expected day of graduation letter. It's known to them, and you can apply or start your application with the MBRU with those letters. And at this stage, the only like attestation required is sufficient if you were just attested from the Ministry of Higher Education and the Ministry of the External Affairs. So it was at Kharjia. That's sufficient. But inshallah, when you get accepted, you have to attest your certificates and the transcript from the UAE embassy, from the country that you have graduated from. So the sequence of the attestation, because it's a little bit confused, just start from your attested from the Ministry of Higher Education, and then from the Ministry of External Affairs at your home country or the country you have studied medicine, and then from the UAE embassy. So UAE embassy is the last step of attestation. Then the other thing that's required is the result of English proficiency test, as Dr. Dalal mentioned, either IELTS or TOEFL. OET is not accepted anymore. 2 recommendation letters, not have been more than 1 year. It's always recommended that you provide recommendation letters related to the specialties that you are going to apply. Last year, we had a chance to apply for 3 different specialties through the website of the MBRU. So it's okay to provide 2 different letters if you are applying for more than completely different specialties, like for example, emergency medicine and internal medicine. So it's expected that you could have many recommendation letters as you are an intern during your internship. You can apply with, or actually you can provide 2 different recommendation letters. For the educational credential evaluators or the ECE reports, the purpose of this step is to unify applicants with a standard cumulative GPA. The issue with this ECE is it's located in the United States, and I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. So for the ECE report, I had like an experience I can share it with you guys. Those people in the ECE, they are very meticulous, which means if you provide any documents or that's not fit with their criteria, they will ask you to provide them as a hard copy. So providing those documents, so what do they ask for? They ask for your academic transcript, undergraduate degree certificate, and internship certificate as well. When you apply when you create, so the first step is you go to the ECE website in the Google. You create an account, and then you provide that you want to attest your undergraduate degree, not postgraduate or not postgraduate degree. So undergraduate degree, because it's a bachelor degree, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. And then you have the option to provide it either as an online or a hard copy. Hard copy means the hard documents, the original documents, you have to send them to their address in the United States. And then, so that takes time because, you know, the courier takes like 10 days to reach the United States, and then another 5 days or 10 days to evaluate your documents. And you don't know, maybe they will ask for another document. So that will take another extra time. And then they get back to you with the original document and with your original certificates and the original ECE report. But there is another way that's much easier. You can do that is just to ask your, there is the department at our university, Alfaisal University, there is a registrar office. And I think it's there in many different universities around the world. So what you do is you just go to the registrar. You ask him to send your academic transcript and the MBBS or the undergraduate degree certificate and your internship certificate to be sent through an email that's registrar@alfaisaluniversity.edu, for example, so they can verify the ethnicity of those documents. How do they clarify it, or how do they make it, or this is original or authentic person? They follow the IP address of the email. So when you ask your registrar to send those documents, you make sure that he will send those documents through a computer or through a device that's connected to the network of the university. So they can follow or trace the IP address that this email has been sent through from this email that's linked to the institution or linked to this university, and it's verified. Because if you don't do that, then you have to send them the hard copy. And you cannot initiate this process unless you pay. So Dr. Elhaitham, can you please go to the next slide? So as I told you, this is the process and the steps. And then you pay the fees. That's $130 for the regular timeline, 3 to 4 weeks. If you are in rush, usually you have to pay extra, like $80. After the payment, they will generate a unique reference number, and through that unique reference number, you provide it to the registrar of the university, and he will send those documents through his email, registrar email, to their email, and hopefully they will approve it. The other important information that in the United States, in order to make it equivalent for anybody who studied medicine, because their medical colleges ranges from 7 to 8 years, which grants a degree called MD. So some universities, the preparatory year is not included in the original transcript, and I think Alfaisal University is one of them. So the only way is just ask your registrar to attach your PYP or your UPP, your undergraduate UPP year. So they count it as 7 years and they grant you an MD. Otherwise, they will say in their report that this degree is not equivalent to an MD in the United States, but it's 5 years medical college and 1 year internship. Okay. Personally, I didn't have any problem with this label, but I noticed some people, they granted MD, who are graduates from other universities other than Alfaisal, they gave them an MD degree. When I dig into that, I found that their university attached the preparatory program or preparatory year with the 6 years or 5 years of medical education and the 1 year of internship. So for my So for my report, it was written that 5 years medicine and 1 year internship. So just those hints or tips just to avoid the hassle, because when you raise a ticket and then you wait for them to reply to you, and they will reevaluate your ECE report, and you really don't want to miss any day, the crucial and very specific timeline, because you only have 8 weeks from now until the application closes. So every day really counts. So just make sure when you apply for this process, ECE report, you make sure that you apply it. You already informed your registrar about how important to send the documents through an official email connected to the university internet or network. Okay. So then the official transcript will be attested from the university, and then you go to the Ministry of Higher Education, and then you go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. UAE Embassy is a must, inshallah ta'ala, once you get accepted. But before the acceptance, I mean, for the sake of the application process, attestation from the Ministry of Higher Education and Ministry of Foreign Affairs is enough. Okay, doctor. Okay, so before the 22nd of March, you will apply, and you apply your medical exam, assembly or MV, portfolio, and then you will be shortlisted. Shortlisted means you will be so let's have it as a general rule. Applying to the MBRU is very competitive, which means why it's competitive? Because of two things. The first one, MBRU or all of the entities accepting residency in the United Arab Emirates, they give the priority to their UAE graduates or medical graduates, regardless of their nationality. Anyone who is UAE graduates, they give them the priority to get accepted in the residency training program. The second thing is the filtration process itself is very competitive, because you will be, it's actually in 3 or 4 phases. So you will start it as you will apply, and then you will wait to calculate your complete grade. So you will be shortlisted to the next step, which is the MMI, multiple mini interview. And then after doing the multiple mini interview, again, people will be filtered out based on their performance purely on this MMI. And then you will be invited for the specialty interview. Some people received an invitation for 1 specialty. Some people received 2 invitations, and some people received none. And then after the personal interview or residency interview, you will be giving what we call it cross match. Cross match is where the UAE graduates having the opportunity, for someone who applied to different entities like the Abu Dhabi or EHS. Some people get accepted in both entities. Like some people get accepted in MBRU and Abu Dhabi. They will be contacted by both entities, giving them the privilege to choose which one they want. So they will rank, for example, if somebody gets accepted in MBRU and Abu Dhabi, but he lives in Abu Dhabi, for example, and he wants to be in Abu Dhabi, he will choose Abu Dhabi, and then immediately he will be crossed out from the MBRU. So the next person will be contacted by the MBRU. That's why it's called cross-matching. Honestly, I don't know anyone who is a graduate from outside UAE get this chance to be contacted from multiple entities. So it's very, as you can see, it's very competitive. And also Abu Dhabi, Dr. Elhaitham will share his experience. I think it's also by far more competitive, because they have some criteria even for the application, to start your application. Okay, doctor, can you go to the next step? And then ranking and offering, and then the cost match. Okay, so we will go through each component step by step. So for the shortlisting, you will be shortlisted based on these three components: your cumulative GPA, your MRE or SMLE exam, and your portfolio. So for the GPA, it counts 40%. For the MRE, 40%, and for the portfolio, 20%. I just want to, Dr. I just want to point out for the MRE or SMLE exam, there is specific calculation for the MBRU, whether if it's the first attempt or second attempt or third attempt or fourth attempt. So a person who achieved, like, for example, 85% of the MRE or of SMLE from the first attempt will not be the same who achieved 95% from MRE or SMLE, but from the third or second or fourth attempt. So they take this in consideration. So just make sure that when you apply to them, because there is a click if this exam or if this test result based on the first attempt or was achieved on the first attempt or second attempt or third attempt. So just make sure to choose the correct one because it reflects on the total score calculation. Okay. So moving for the portfolio actually it's 20 points. And if you go to the MBRU website, they have the research activity, which is any participation. Like if you have participated in any research activity, writing proposal, collecting data, or analyzing data, or writing the manuscript, but you have to provide them like a copy of the IRB approval letter and a copy of the research proposal and letter from the research supervisor. This component actually counts 2 points for 2 points. So 2 points for any involving in any research activity. The second point, which is the publication in a peer-reviewed journal, you have to provide a link to the article and a copy of the manuscript. So when you are, it's part of your application process. So just make sure that your link is working because you have to attach this link. Just make sure that when you click on that link, it will direct people or direct the persons who are in the committee to the website because they receive many hundreds of applicants. So if they click on that link and that link doesn't work, they will not calculate for you because it's time consuming. They will not check the manuscript and see, oh Allah, this person, oh really, this is a published. No, they click on the link. If it's working, not working, so you will not get the point. And here it's very important. The publication itself was 4 points. So each, and you can only apply, you can also provide 2 marks. Okay, so 2 publications for the maximum, and the maximum point is 4 points. So the publication itself 4 points, research activity 2 points. Presenting in any scientific conference, it's 2 points. Volunteering 2 points, you can provide 2, so the total will be 4 points. Extracurricular courses, 2 points for each, maximum 2 courses. Any course, Doctor, can you go to the next? Any extracurricular course, either it's BLS, ACLS, ultrasound, leadership certificate, any of those certificates, it will be counted as extracurricular courses. So each one was 2 points, maximum 4. The other thing is the academic award. This is very important because it was 4 points. Academic award letter, either you receive like any best research or best presentation, dean's list. You have to provide like an evidence you received this award, either a certificate or a letter. And so that counts like 20 points. So adding those 20 portfolio points with the MRE exam and GPA, you will be shortlisted and you will be invited for the multiple mini interview. Yes, can we go, Doctor? Here is something you will be given you will be given a period. You will be notified through the email that the calculation of the cumulative grades has been out. You will be given a chance to appeal with any fees, because in Saudi Commission you have to pay, I think, 300 or 350 Saudi riyal. But here you don't have to pay for the appeal, but you will be given a chance to appeal for your cumulative grade if you are not satisfied. But you have to provide them with justification, like providing them evidence of, for example, if that article or if they didn't count a certificate for you or a course for you, you can provide them, for example, more clear image or more supporting documents so they can add those points for you. Based on that, you will be shortlisted or invited for the multiple mini interview. And here is the thing: multiple mini interview it has to be in person, so you cannot do it like an online. And for people who requires like a visa or logistics or something, you have to set it by your own. So the university will not sponsor any visa for this multiple mini interviews, but you have to secure a visa to be able to travel to Dubai. So the multiple mini interviews will be held at the university, Mohammed bin Rashid University, and it's in person, not an online. Okay, so what's MMI? So MMI, it's for short multiple mini interviews. It's several short independent assessment interviews, typically arranged in a time circuit. The purpose from this interview is to assess your skills. So it's not medical based questions, but it's more of hypothetical, or actually it's a reality. It's something you will face it in reality as you are practicing medicine. So, for example, it could be you're encountering an angry patient. MMI, to be honest with you guys, the MMI is very crucial step in your application, because many students and many applicants have been crossed out based on their performance on the MMI. I remember, like, we did like MMI. We were like around 300 or 400, but when we reached to the personal interviews, I think half of us, or actually more than half of us, reached the interview. So it's very important to know to know how to prepare for the MMI. So it's can we go to the next slide? So yeah, okay. Next slide, Doctor. Yeah, so it's mainly it's like 10 stations, each station 10 minutes. You will be given 2 minutes before entering the room. You will read the task. You will be given within 2 minutes, prepare for it. And then you will enter the room. You'll be asked to like act with the examiner or act with the patient. I can say that the multiple mini interview is quite similar to professional skills, guys. If you remember, Alfaisal students, you are aware about your professional skills course. We have been taught this since year 1 till year 3, I think, third year. Every semester we have professional skills, and I really, from this mic, I'd like to thank every doctor and our seniors about the dedicated time and effort they took in teaching us the professional clinical skills course. They took it very seriously, and it was very helpful to me at this stage, because communication skills was there, examination was there. One of the station I remember in my OSCE of the professional skills was, you are on call and you want to refer this patient to your colleague who is going to handle the next test. So how will you handle this patient, or how will you give the handover? So like a SPAR. So it's in a mnemonic. I have been memorizing it since I was third year. So professional skills is very important. I advise to go through them because it helped me a lot during this process. So yeah, so 10 to 15 stations, different based on that day of the examination. 2 minutes before and 8 minutes inside the room. There's no wrong or right answer. It's just how will you interpret or how will you act that will give the examiner an overview about your personality, about your skills, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking. Okay, so as I told you, candidates will be shortlisted based on the MMI scores and invited to the specialty interviews. The unsuccessful candidates will be notified at that time with a regretful notice. Okay, for the specialty interviews, it could be either on site or online. I prefer on site as person because I believe that you person to person you can express yourself. Your body language can be more obvious to them. Your appearance as a wall person, how you look and those things. But if you cannot travel online, also it's sufficient as well. So it will be general interview questions. Tell us about yourself, hobbies. Why did you choose this specialty? I remember one question I received, I got during my interview. It was like, okay, tell us about you have been rotating in internal medicine as a part of your internship. So tell us about any medical, and tell us what did you learn from that. So it's kind of questions that they really need to know you before they accept you. They want you to know your personality most of the time.
But I guess, Ahmed, passing the MMI, which you and Dalal have done, if you pass that, then this is the hard part. I think the specialty interview is just, the cherry on the top, just for the kind of to have the final shortlisting. Is that right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
And just to highlight what Dr. Ahmed talked about, the MMI is kind of one of the hardest steps in getting, accepted in Dubai health system. From my point of view, I didn't go through it personally, but listening to him and listening to Dalal's experience as well, I think what they did is actually really, really great. And somebody, talked about how to prepare for MMI. Honestly, I'm not sure how they did it themselves, but as Ahmed said, they just are looking forward to hearing more about you and, getting to know you better, and adding on top of that your medical kind of sense is what's gonna make you be kind of shortlisted. I think we have a couple of more slides. Just Ahmed, I felt that you were really going hard with remembering all of the traumatic stations. But that's really that's really interesting. I'll let you continue the next couple of slides.
Okay, so the final decision for the MBRU, they will see your cumulative grade again. So 50% from your grade that you achieved to be nominated for the MMI, and then 30% from your score of the MMI, and then 20% from the specialty interview. And they calculate all of that, and then based on this final grade, they'll start giving the offers. And as I told you, some people actually applied to Abu Dhabi or Dubai private hospitals. So they give them like the cross matching, which is the next step or the last step. Because some people get accepted in both, actually, Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And I have met some residents, they got accepted in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. But they choose based on their circumstances, family situations, and those things. Okay, so the final slide will be talking about the available. So the cross match admission offers and the available. I think we have been through this step. Yeah, so the available available specialties. So we have the internal medicine residency program. Also, one thing to mention, the beauty of the MBRU is their accreditation programs. So their programs actually accredit from multiple different entities, and I think the same thing applies to AbuDhabi programs. So internal medicine residency program is AC American College graduate ACGMEI, so the international, and accredited from the Saudi Commission and also from the Emirati board, because now in the UAE they are introducing the Emirati board, as well as the Arab board, of course, is already accredited from the Arab board. So availability and the capacity of each program is actually posted in their website, MBRU website. So we have the internal medicine, 12 seats, neurology, 2 seats, neurosurgery, 1 seat, OBGYN, 11 seats, ophthalmology, 3 seats, and the radiology, 4 seats as well. There is dermatology, 1 seat, dermatology and anesthesia, 2 seats. Emergency with Dr. Dalal, she is in 8 seats. Family medicine, 8 seats. General surgery, 3 seats. And urology is also having like 2 seats for them. We have also orthopedic, 4 seats, and ENT. Psychiatry, 4 seats. Pediatric residency, 15 seats, and they have neurology, by the way, which is quite similar to the pediatric neurology residency program in the Saudi Commission, and it's also accredited from the Saudi Commission. So they have also two seats, and it has been established in new recently. It's 2022. Okay, so this question was actually among the common questions and answers at their website. So which hospital will be best at? So they have 2 common hospitals in Dubai, the Rashid Hospital. Actually many hospitals for internal medicine. It's Dubai Hospital or Rashid Hospital, but of course they have Latifa Hospital for the Latifa Hospital for the OBGYN. And Al Jalila Children's Hospital for the pediatrics. They have also Dubai Dental Hospital, medical fitness, primary healthcare centers, and specialized centers. And actually, you will be granted your license to practice also in those hospitals as well. Okay, next slide.
All right, I think Ahmed, you did the hardest part, honestly. So now we will open the floor for people to ask about the DH pathway and the different, questions regarding the process, ECE, MMIs. We encourage people to just raise their hands, open their mics, and ask Ahmed and Dalal questions regarding that part before we move on to the DH pathway.
Yeah, if you allow me, Dr. Haytham, I got
yes,
the question. Is DH ACGME accredited? Yes, it is ACGMEI. So just to make sure that there are two entities, ACGME, which is the accreditation inside the United States or programs for the United States, and the I, which is international. So MBRU program is an ACGMEI, at least for my internal medicine residency program is accredited from the ACGMEI. I'm not sure, Dr. Dalal, about the emergency. If you could please answer this question as well from your experience.
For DH pathways in general, each specialty has, not each specialty, but some specialties, they are Saudi board certified, others are Emirati board certified, others are Arab board certified. Each specialty by itself is either ACGM accredited or not. For emergency medicine, currently it's not ACGM accredited. However, they are working on it. When will it be accredited? We're not sure. For other specialties, I'm not 100% sure. But for emergency itself, currently it's Arab board. ACGM accreditation is on the way. We're not sure when exactly. Soon it will be also Emirati board and Arab board. So
Emirates.
soon we will
Yeah.
go to the double board.
And
I'm not
Yeah,
sure of all the specialties. I think it's specialty by specialty and not the whole pathway. This is up to my knowledge.
exactly, Dalal, and this is what I'd like to emphasize. It is literally specialty by specialty and specialty by specialty in each hospital. People in your next program might not be accredited for a certain accreditation. However, your program is accredited for that accreditation. And I'll talk about the accreditation and the tier levels, inshallah, in the last couple of slides. So bear with me. I think we have Abdullah Zira. We have a question. You can open your mic, please.
Yes, hi. First of all, thank you for this really good presentation. I wanted to ask just two questions. The first one is regarding the entrance examination. I understand that MBRU accepts EMRI and SMLE, but in your experience, did you notice any preference in terms, because both of them are graded differently and are weighted differently, but have you noticed any preference of one exam over the other? If I've done both, I'm kind of confused which one would be better to apply with.
Well, I personally did both, but I ended up applying with my SMLE because it was higher. Is there any preference according to the website? No. I don't know which is better, but if you have a higher grade, I would personally suggest that, I mean, in one of them, apply with one of them. I mean, the higher one, the highest one. Yeah. I don't know, Dr. Ahmed, do you know, or Dr. Elhaitham, if you have any?
Yeah, I believe there is no preference of on top of each other, or except that make sure that which one is the highest grade, the highest, and which one is the first attempt, because in their website they mention that the second or third attempt it has some different calculation to them. I don't have the PDF that they have. They all, because it has been like 6 months ago. But
Yeah.
I remember that if it's first attempt, it differs from the second, differs from the third, and differs from the fourth attempt. Because there's some specific calculation to them. So the higher grade, just apply with it. If you have like SMLE 80 and, for example, 80 SMLE and 75 EMRI, just go with the SMLE, because it's 40% and it's calculated purely on your grade.
All right, thank you.
One point to add. Sorry, Abdullah, if you have further questions, we're gonna go with them again. I mean, after I finish.
That's all right.
Yeah. It's our cycle, or this 2023 was the first time they accept SMLE, or they require either this or that. So it's SMLE itself is kind of new to the system. So this is their second year of accepting SMLE. Yeah, and what else I wanted to add? I forgot. There was something I wanted to add.
Yeah,
Abdullah, have further
SMLE.
questions? Yeah, yes.
Sorry, Dr. Dalal. SMLE is only for the MBRU, I think, right? The other private colleges, they don't accept. They don't accept SMLE. So only to even AbuDhabi, they don't
Yes.
accept SMLE as well. So
True.
only if you are applying to Mohammed bin Rashid University residency training programs, then you can apply with the SMLE if it's higher grade. Otherwise, they don't accept SMLE. I mean, other entities, they don't actually accept SMLE. So it's only for the MBRU.
Yes, and there are 4 specialties that give Saudi board currently. It's IM, pediatrics, neurology, and neurosurgery, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe pediatric neurology.
Yes, pediatric neurology is accredited from the Saudi
So
Commission.
we have 5 specialties that actually give the Saudi board. What is it? The Saudi. Yeah.
Saudi
Yes.
board certificate.
All right, we will take the question, guys, from Dana, and then we will proceed. Dania, can you please ask your question?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. So you mentioned something about attestation from Ministry of Higher Education and attestation from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Is that something that we do online, or how do we do that?
No, it's not an online. Attestation is in person, because you have to stamp your certificate.
In Saudi or in UAE?
Sorry?
Do we do it in the UAE or in Saudi Arabia?
No, in Saudi, so the attestation process, it's two umbrellas. So attestation process from the country that you studied medicine, and then attestation for the UAE purpose. So attestation from your home country or from the country that you studied medicine on, you have to attest it from the Ministry of Higher Education. So the first step will be from the Ministry of Higher Education. And I think some universities, they provide official transcript and unofficial transcript. So make sure that if you are going to attest them, you have the official transcript and the approved signature of the dean or the person who is recognized in the Ministry of Higher Education. So just make sure with your university or student affairs department that you are going to take this academic transcript or academic transcript and certificate and internship to the Ministry of Higher Education for the attestation purpose, so they can do the specific signature and give you the specific documents. After that, you go to the Ministry of Higher Education and you attest it, you stamp it. After that, you go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yeah, but Dana, if you're outside Saudi or the country of graduation, then try contacting the يعني وزارة شو اسمه سفارة السعودية for example in UAE.
Yeah, Dr. you are right. But before contacting the Saudi Culture Mission, you have to attest it from the Ministry of Higher Education of the country you studied medicine on. Like, for example, you studied medicine in China, for example. So you have to attest the university from the Ministry of Higher Education in China, and then you have to attest it from the Ministry of External Affairs in China, and then you go to any country in the world. So this is the general rule of any attestation, whether it's education or any or trade document or whatever document. You have to attest it from the Ministry of the External Affairs of that country that has been issued. And before you attest it from the Ministry of External Affairs, you have to attest it from the specific department. Like if it's education, then you have to go to the Ministry of Education. If it's trade, you have to go like Wazat Tijara or any other ministry. So
yes,
depending on your document that has been issued. So
that's absolutely correct, Ahmed. It requires for any attestation process, and I think that's something that they can figure out as well. Lovely, very great questions. Dana, do you have any further questions, or can we proceed?
You can go on, thank you.
All right. So basically, you can see that the systems are quite complicated because it's not one department of health. It is not one entity that you apply to. Think of it, yes, you're applying to the UAE, but you're applying to 4 different entities that will accept you separately and independently of each other. And that's why each one of them is kind of its own process, its own experience. I am an experience of AbuDhabi application. Ahmed and Dalal are an experience of DH, Dubai Health. So previous names has been there. One thing to note is this an ever-evolving kind of information system that is being updated literally year by year. Information that is being here today might not be, the same that's applying tomorrow, but we're giving you what happened up until at least 2023. So what I'm going to speak about essentially in the beginning is the same, but when you dig into the process, it's a little bit different. For example, you have MMIs in Dubai Health. We don't have MMIs in Abu Dhabi. We don't have clear percentages on the how much does the interview take or how much does the your exam carries as a weight. So it is kind of a little bit a vague process, but we're trying to clarify it as much as possible so that you can apply to it. At the end of the day, you have 3 graduates from Alfaisal that have been accepted by a way or another, and trying to make it as clear as possible. So I'll move on with the DOH, Department of Health. And just to mention, why are we focusing on DH and Department of Health? Because they have the most seats, and by having the most seats, you can increase your chances into getting into a residency program. So Department of Health, you will, the application timeline starts from March 1st until March 3rd. This is the application time process. So what do you need in terms of documents? Give me a second. Question here. All right. In terms of documents, what do you need is that you will be applying through now what is currently called MIAD, as used to call BTNSIQ before. And what it requires is that it's a little bit difficult and only accepts EMRI, and your EMRI has to be above 75. 75 is not difficult, but it is not easy. You really need to study hard for it because you're focusing for specifically non-UAE nationals. You need the regular. Everything else is your regular stuff, transcript, passports, academic status, whatever Dalal and Ahmed elaborated on. These are the rest of the documents that you need. Now, this is a screenshot from Ni'ad, just to show you that this is the timeline for each and every step. So you can see here, step number 1 is the entrance exam. And in the entrance exam, these are the periods. So that's why we're encouraging you to go on the NIHS website and trying to get a booking or a date and eligibility before that date. If you want to apply to Abu Dhabi, and I'm going to say why Abu Dhabi is better. I'm not competing Dalal Ahmed, it's just saying why is it good or why is not good. All right.
Okay.
And then you have the MIAD application submission, which is, as we said, during March. You can start actually from today, but it ends in 31st of March. And then interviews, our application will have the booking period for interviews, then interview submission scheduling, the interviews themselves, the rank order after your interviews, and you can see it's just subsequent by a month. So May, and then by June, you will have the rank order. Post-match is almost by that date as well, if you have any scramble. And then the announcement will be in July, inshallah. And then you start in September, as opposed to what you have seen in in DH, where they start in, I think, later in October. So we start a little bit earlier than them. That's what I'm telling you, separate entities, separate healthcare system in a way or another. All right. This is to give you just an overall view over the timeline. Lovely. So moving on to the rest of the documents and what we need. We need recent photos, bachelor degree less than 5 years for people who are non-UAE graduates. And then internship, good standing certificates, and then whatsoever regarding that. Now, before they did not used to accept OET, now they do. I would encourage you to scan the QR code because there are special consideration categories or special consideration points that you need actually to see if you fit among them or you don't. And this is very important. For example, you cannot be above 30 years of age while applying. I'm not sure if that applies to an old graduate or something, but instead of going through the process and doing all of it, just check the special requirements or requests that they have put on their website. Now, in terms of sites of training, we have different hospitals and medical cities in Abu Dhabi, in the city of Abu Dhabi and Al Ain. So Emirates of Abu Dhabi contains 2 cities, which is basically Abu Dhabi city and then Al Ain city. You have Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi. It is a sister of Cleveland Clinic in the US. You have Tawam Hospital in Al Ain, and it's a Tawam Complex Hospital, which actually, if you decided to do the EMRI, you will see Tawam Hospital because it is the UAE University medical, the medical school is attached to Tawam Hospital, and their students go to the hospital for their rotations. In terms of what other hospitals do we have or medical cities in Abu Dhabi, we have Sheikh Khalifa, Sheikh Aboud Medical City, my own and my home base, Zayed Military Hospital, Corniche Hospital, Danat Al-Emirates for OB/GYN and Peds. You have the ambulatory healthcare services. This is for family medicine. And then finally, actually, above all of that, you can still do fellowships. We're not gonna dive into fellowships, but it is just very good for you to know that it is an evolving medical system, and fellowships are being more and more by the day. And I'll show you now the amount of seats for us compared to the Dubai healthcare system. So you can see here, for example, just to give you a very good overview about what is happening, is that you can see that, for example, Cleveland Clinic, it will offer more than one residency. They have general surgery and they have emergency medicine. They have 4 seats in emergency medicine and they have 5 seats in general surgery. And this is one hospital. And my own, for example, Zayed Military Hospital, we have 4 seats in emergency medicine, as opposed to Tawam, who is in emergency medicine, they accept 8. So you can see here total emergency, for example, here you have 4, 6, 4, 8, and 4. That's more than 20 seats, and it increases by the year based on the National Institute of Health and how many they accredit the program to have how many seats. So you can see that you have more opportunity because you have more seats in Abu Dhabi if you have cleared the Emirates exam. So this is not only the programs that you can apply to. You can apply to internal medicine. You can see, for example, we have 12 seats in both Sheikh Shakhbut Medical City and Tawam Hospital. These numbers compared to the Saudi medical system might be a little bit, of less compared to that, but still compared to Dubai, at least healthcare system, they are much more and they have more capacity to accept students in different specialties. Given that, it is by, like we know with each medical healthcare system, the competitive specialties are competitive, and the priority is always to the nationals, and this is something that we can be frank about, and it is actually mentioned in the website that you cannot apply to certain specialties. This is one more to show you this is how many specialties we have. In terms of fellowships, these are the current fellowships, and I'm telling you as of now, I know that medicine, internal medicine, have the highest subspecialties and fellowships that are available, especially here in Abu Dhabi. After that, pediatrics. So whoever is considering these two specialties, you definitely can have a fellowship opportunity when it comes later on to practicing.
So, sorry, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Elhaitham, what you said. Since you brought up the fellowship programs, and actually also in our hospital at MBRU, they also have fellowship programs, gastroenterology, cardiology, endocrine, nephrology, and all of them. I think cardiology has been recently accredited from the Saudi Commission. Gastro already accredited from, I think, 3 years or 4 years ago. Endocrinology the same, but also the seats are not the same
Exactly.
as in the Abu Dhabi. So like we have for the cardiology, we have 3 seats. They accept 6 fellows per year. For the gastro 3. They also have pediatric endocrinology as a fellowship. There is also I mean, the point is there is also a room for the fellowships also
Exactly.
in Dubai and in Mohammed bin Rashid University.
Exactly. And if you are a graduate of this system or that system, you can still apply to both. It's a free market, if you are a graduate from here or there, it's a free market, you can apply here or there. But we're just saying that an overall point of view of your future now on, from 5 to 7 years from now, you should really be aware of that. All right. And just talking about all of that, something that's in the pipeline is Emirati board. Now, somebody asked me the questions about, the class, we call it tier of board, and what board and accreditation do we have? Emirati board is something that they have been talking about for the past couple of years, and now it is seeing the light. I'm happy that, I'll be one of the first to, I'll be the second batch basically to enter the Emirati board examination. It is a new board. So whatever system or residency that you are in, as my colleagues mentioned briefly, is that it's accredited by different accreditations. It can be ACGMI accredited. It can be Canadian board accredited. This is happening in Abu Dhabi. It can be Arab board accredited. And now what's happening all over the country is that they're trying to get Emirati board accreditation for most of the specialties and residencies. Now, does Dubai have the Emirati board accreditation for internal medicine? I don't know as of this moment it's yes or no. Does most of the emergency medicine, internal medicine specialties in Abu Dhabi have it? Yes. Are Dubai working on it? Absolutely yes. And for whoever is applying, definitely some Emirati board is something to look forward to. What is this going to add? It is coming back to the tier classes. Now, most of the programs, as we said, is either Arab board accredited, some in Dubai are Saudi Health, Commission accredited. It comes later on upon your graduation. Are you going to graduate as a tier 1 or tier 2 kind of board? Most of the agreed kind of not published yet, that's why I said factors to be determined, is that all the other accreditations will give you a tier 2 position, which will allow you to work as a specialist in your field the moment that you graduate and you find the job. However, if you graduate with Emirati board, which is yet not being published, there are this classification might change. Okay. And for further classification, for further, news about that, we will just wait and watch along, this year and the next year, what will happen. Because right now, the first batch of Emirati board in different specialties are gonna graduate, like within 2024. So we're gonna see after that, inshallah, what will happen with them, and we can update you, and you can follow about regarding that news. So is this something to be, happy about? Does it strengthen your desire to apply to the UAE? It absolutely does. Okay. We know that Saudi board is really strong, and they are in collaboration with Saudi board. Now Qatar has Qatari board in most of its specialties and graduating, I think, their second or third batches. So it is something that we can see along the Gulf countries, that they are trying to have their own health specialty institute in a way, and creating their own board. So it's a process, and it is definitely something that, to be happy about and to look forward to. It gives you more, guts when you want to apply to the other, because you're going to be at least practicing with a board that's recognized in the region as a tier 1, inshallah, hopefully. This is what we are hoping for. And just to shed light upon the association of how close Saudi board and Emirati board is that part 1 is actually conducted with the Saudi board. This is specifically for emergency medicine, and I have heard it applies actually to other programs as well. The final written exam is done as well with the, simultaneously and in coincidence with the Saudi board. So all of these things are actually telling you that these two countries have really good, in terms of the healthcare system, they have really good collaboration and association. We might see in the near future a lot of accreditation happening between here and there. We might see, Saudi programs sending students here. You can go there to do some rotation. It's something that can be seen in the near future. And by this good news, actually, I'd like to, end up my talk, and I'll open the floor for your questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elhaitham, for your enriched information and presentation. Much appreciated. And I wish you all the best of luck for your exam in the Emirati board. Hopefully you can share the news with us.
Absolutely. So I think I'll just start by answering one question that I received from the organizing committee, which is regarding data flow. And this is again from Mi'ad. I have screenshotted for you guys. For us in the Mi'ad, you have to do the data flow. Ahmed, I don't think you and Dalal mentioned that data flow is required for.
Yes, actually, for speaking about data flow, of course it's required, but
it's not required at the time of application.
Yeah, exactly. It's required after the final offer and the final acceptance.
Yeah.
Then you will be asked from the MBRU to provide your data flow report. So you will initiate the process. So you will initiate the process after the final decision and final acceptance.
Absolutely. For if you're planning to apply for DOH, Department of Health in Abu Dhabi, you need to have your data flow, and these are the the documents that you need to verify through them: your university certificate, your internship, your health license if you have it, certificate of good standing, professional experience if applicable, and IELTS. All of them need to be attested by the data flow. So there is no question. If you're applying to DOH, please prepare these documents from early on. and create an account onto Mi'ad, and everything is explained on the QR codes that we have mentioned. We just go onto the website. They have a very friendly, user-friendly website, which you can, inshallah, just dig deep into. And if you have any questions for us, we can also help you through the process. These are our contacts and questions. Yeah.
Doctor, I think regarding the data flow, the Department of Health will conduct it on behalf of the applicant. So, because I remembered when I applied last year, there was like a paper saying that you authorized the Department of Health to conduct the data flow on behalf of you. So
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
you have to pay for it, but the process will be conducted by the Department of Health and the data flow itself.
That is true. That is true. And it is mentioned here that PSV is a process by which the Department of Health confirms authenticity. So basically, but you have to kind of have all the documents and be prepared kind of to pay it. And it's part of the process, as you mentioned. But it is, not to do it independently. Do it once you open Mi'ad, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just upload. So you just upload those
Upload your
documents,
documents.
and it will be taken care by them. I mean, they will. Data flow itself will verify the ethnicity of those documents.
Absolutely. That's a nice point to point out, Ahmed. Good. All right. Questions. I don't know what for DOH in Abu Dhabi, is Emory exam accepted or had exam necessary? This is a different story. Now we are talking about residency. So residency is only accept the Emory exam. The had exam is if you want to apply for a GP license. Okay, these are two different stories. I think we had and two different processes, and I think a lot of either different Telegram groups, Facebook groups, different experiences from people. You can find a lot of resources about having just a DHA license or a DH license, having a HAD license, and now it's called DHA license. These are different separate exams that you can apply for GP. So the Emory exam is the only exam that's accredited and needed for the application for residency programs. If you want to apply for jobs and licensing, that's a totally different story. If I pass my Emory exam and no work experience, can I work as a GP in UAE? I think this is a little bit off topic, but I can answer you from my experience. No, you need to have at least 2 years of experience in order to work as a GP in the UAE, and you don't take the Emory exam for that. You take the DHA or the HAD exam, DOH exam for GP. Surgical specialties. Yeah.
And actually, doctor, for the GP license, so in order to get a GP license in the UAE, you have to have the 2 years experience as part of the data flow, and also to get the license, to grant the license as a general practitioner.
Yeah. I think here regarding surgical subspecialties, Ophthalmology and T are only 3 seats. Yeah, but these subspecialties you cannot apply to as a non-UAE graduate. MBRU, EHS data flow should, according to Ahmed, in MBRU, the data flow is only after acceptance. Is it a must to data flow English exams? According to their website, yes. So yeah.
Yes, you have to. Even if you have a license or an experience, like some people work like a GP for 1 year, so you have to provide or submit this certificate for the data flow as well.
Yeah, lovely. And I think Abu Bakr here is MMI. No, MMI does not apply for a process of Abu Dhabi at all. At all.
Hi, sorry. Can I just ask a question about something you just mentioned? The surgical specialties like ENT, ophthalmo, in your experience, you saw that it's very difficult, or is it just UAE citizens that get these specialties? I'm talking about ENT specifically in Abu Dhabi.
Yes. Yeah, you can find that even elaborated on their website. There are certain specialties that you cannot apply to. And
All right.
ENT and Optas are both on the list. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Yeah.
Dr.
Um,
Elhaitham. Yes, Abdullah.
Sorry,
Yes, Abdullah.
for what about Dubai MBRU? ENT, is it more of a more welcoming specialty for IMGs?
What I know is that I think there are 3 seats, if I'm not mistaken, and one of them is for UAE nationals, for locals. So it's quite a competitive specialty, but is there any hope? Yes, you can always try applying. But it is competitive.
All right. Are there any questions, moderators?
Dr. Elhaitham, there is a question from Dana, which I
Yeah.
don't know the answer, so I'm going to read it for you if you know the answer.
Yes, please.
So
Yeah.
she says that the DOH website says that health license is mandatory if internship is outside UAE. Is it a must or only if applicable?
No. You don't have to have a health license in order to apply. But if you pass your internship in Saudi Arabia, might as well, get the Saudi license. But I applied, honestly, I applied with Saudi license. But if again, it's an updated thing. I applied 4 years ago, mind you. So if this is a new thing that they mentioned, maybe. But as of my knowledge, you can apply directly, because I have people that they graduated either from currently accepted this year from Egypt or from Sudan, and basically they got accepted without needing without needing to have a medical license from there. So maybe.
We have 3 questions. As a foreign, when we got accepted by a residency program, is it mandatory to obtain work visa, or we can go on with the previous visa? Well, for DH, once you're accepted, after you do your MMI and get your admission offer, they will carry on for your visa. You're gonna pay the fees, but they're gonna apply for you. So your visa will be under Dubai Health.
Yes, will be sponsored by them.
Yeah. But for DH, I think it's the same case, Dr. Elhaitham.
Yeah, same story. It's a work visa. You will come, they will help you with everything in terms of that. You will have a work visa.
Yeah. The second question is from Ray. How long does it take for MBRU scores to come out? If you do it late March, it's gonna come out very fast, within 24 to 48 hours. But I think ideally it takes a few days up to 1 week in order for it to be out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Is there any age limit for DHA and DOH MBRU to apply for residency?
For Dubai Health Care, I'm not sure, but for Abu Dhabi, definitely in their website for residencies, it is 30 years for non-UAE applicants.
Yeah, for Dubai Health or the MBRU pathway, they said that you have to be graduate of 5 years or less. They didn't specify age, but you can always, if you would like to ask, you can ask them via email.
And regarding the data flow, for all the authorities, we do the data flow only after acceptance, right?
No.
So which one should we do before that, like before acceptance?
So it is part of the application, as Ahmed pointed out. You just need to be sure that you do it part of your application of MIAD if you're going to apply to DHA. So you don't really need to do it as a separately, but once you do it through the DOH, once you do it, خلاص, it is done. Yani you can basically just do a transfer, and there are ways to do that if you're applying to a different healthcare system. So you don't really have to do it beforehand unless you're applying to work. This is a different story.
Okay. And what about the ECA verification?
We talked, I think, extensively about that part. Ahmed talked about it. So I think if you missed that part, you can just go to the recording.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, Dalal Ahmed, that you can see that I cannot see?
I have a question, please. Do we need the attestation from Ministry of Health for DOH?
Do you need the attestation from Ministry of Health
and Foreign Affairs for DOH, or is that just for DA?
Yeah, this is the same process, of attestation everywhere, so whatever certificate that you're gonna get out of a certain country and go to another country, as Ahmed mentioned, the steps, you go through the specialty, you go foreign affairs, and then you go to the UAE قنصلية الإمارات يعني في السعودية embassy, and then you come here and then you attest it again and then you upload it, or you don't have to, but again, at least those first steps. Once you come here, you do the final step, they will not ask you, but definitely it has to be attested from the country that you applied from.
So it's required for Abu Dhabi, not just for DH.
Yeah, for all of them. Attestation process, I think, is the same for every certificate.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Okay.
there's a question from Zara. For MBRU, they mentioned bullet points for CV, such as community programs, etc. If you haven't done them, then it's not required. But the CV points or the portfolio points, the higher, the better for your application. So all of the portfolio points, you can apply even if you have zero portfolio points or requirements, but it will affect your combined score, which will affect your shortlisting. So if you, for example, only have 10 points out of the 20 portfolio or CV, you can still apply. What matters is actually the combined score, which is GPA, MBRU resume, and portfolio.
Okay, and I think we will just answer this question. Where on the website can we find? It used to be mentioned before on the DHA website. You can look for that, but from our experience as well, highly specific surgical residencies, unless you have a good portfolio that really supports that specialty, don't apply for it. This is our, conclusion. However, if you think that you have done enough research and you have done enough electives and you work in that field and you have connections within, the country that can testify for your case, yes, definitely. I have colleagues, IMGs that accepted into, urology, for example, which is a highly competitive field. So what generally people apply to as IMGs is internal medicine, emergency medicine, pediatrics, general surgery, OB/GYN. It depends again on your experience. So in these programs or specialties, you might have a chance. And I think we will have a talk about specialty, specialty specifically, and dig deep into how and why each specialty. But just overall, if you started your process, try as much as possible to enter into a program that has a lot of seats, okay? Not a very competitive seat. And at the same time, make sure that you build, or your CV is built accordingly so that you get accepted in that field or in that specialty. For DOH, can I apply during internship? You can, providing all the letters and starting with the timeline, absolutely. All right.
It's called expected. It's called expected graduation letter. Just go to your mainly it's issued by the dean, not the student affairs department.
There was a previous question which I cannot track it now, but I read it. It says that for IMGs, how likely they get accepted. We can't know the exact answer for this. However, from what I saw for DH from this year, for my pathway, DH MBRU pathway, there are a good number of IMGs who got accepted. I saw multiple IM graduates in EM. There's me and also another colleague from outside the UAE. Even in radiology, even though it's kind of competitive, there's an IMG who got accepted. So I can't say a definitive answer, but there's hope. You can always try knocking the door.
Absolutely, Dalal, that's the way to go. Absolutely. Well, chance to get accepted will be affected if we apply 1 year after internship. Well, I have to provide, I have accomplished during that period. It's not going to get affected. Most of us applied. I applied 1 year after I graduated. Ahmed applied, I think, 1 year after he graduated. Most of us did, yeah. So Dalal as well.
I also had a gap year, yeah.
Yeah, so as long as you prove that you were doing something during that year, definitely, you can get accepted. So just as long as you play it well and you make sure that you're doing something during that day. But a gap year is not at all a disadvantage.
There is a question, this question regarding the ECE report that you mentioned about UPP being included in the 7 years MD certificate. Is it okay if we didn't do the UPP? Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier in the talk, that ECE will grant you an MD if you have done 7 years or 8 years studying medicine. But if you didn't study UPP, for example, I haven't studied UPP at Alfaisal, so it's just like 5 years and 1 year internship. So they didn't give me MD, but they gave me like they said that it's 5 years medical education, 5 years college of medicine, and 1 year internship, like 2 separate bullet points. And actually, that took me an effort when I tried to explain to them that this is how our system, this is how our curriculum, because also they looked into the university website itself, and they saw the curriculum and those things. So it's completely fine whether you're granted MD or not. What matters is the GPA that will ECE give you, because that GPA is that number is the number that will be used from the MBRU to calculate your GPA, and the 40% of the GPA that will be from the cumulative grade to be shortlisted and being offered to the MMI. So it doesn't matter actually MD or not MD. What matters is the grade itself. Okay, but I prefer that if you have done UPP or if you have studied 7 years, it's better to mention it to them so you can get the MD equivalency on their ECE report.
All right. A question about, do we need to apply for all? As we said, it's all different entities. It's up to you if you want to apply to one or apply to all of them. Simple. But if you, for example, did not get the 75% in Emory, then apply to the DH only. If you have a SMLE and you don't want to come to the country to do the Emory, then apply to DH. So it depends on your circumstances. But if you want, if you want to apply for all 4, you can apply for all 4 separate applications, as mentioned in the beginning. Attestation, you started as soon as you graduate and you have your certificate. Do we need research publication experience to get priority of internship? Internship is a tricky thing here in the country. You can actually, if you graduate from a medical school that does not provide internships and you finish and then you do your internship on your own, there is an application process for DHA. I'm not familiar about the details, but you can definitely look into that if you are interested, and if you finished from a medical system that does not guarantee you internship, then you can look into that. And it is an application process and it is a competitive process, but I'm not aware about what makes you a priority.
Yeah, DHA and also DH, they both offer this. And there are IMGs who got accepted and they're doing their internship now. And I think if you do your internship on their, for example, DH, then they will know you. So even the process of application for residency would be much easier for you later on. But you websites, yes.
Yeah, but you have to do for the internship. MBRU requires the applicants to submit an IFM exam. I've met many interns in my residency from the MBRU interns. They told me that they are obligated to do IFM exam. It's actually across the country, even Sharqa University students, they have to do IFM exam because it's part of their actually evaluation final year. And for the internship acceptance in the MBRU, you have to provide them with the IFM. They have a portal. So if you go to the MBRU website, they have portal for residency, they have portal for internship. Everything actually is self-explanatory. The MBRU's website is actually self-explanatory. You can find everything on it. Also, there is a specific timeline to apply for the internship. It's not open throughout the year. There is a specific timeline you have to apply. And actually, there is also MMI for that. Even for the internship, They also do an MMI for the
From what I
entrance.
heard, it's quite competitive, and there are only 2 intakes per year. 2 intakes. Yeah. Okay. Does international exams boost your portfolio or CV? Not necessarily. This is my answer to this question. Is MD considered better than MBBS? Those are 2 different separate, degrees. What matters is your certificate from your school. What is it? Is it an MBBS program or an MD program? They are 2 different curriculums. You cannot rely on that. I think Dalal answered does 70 score and 68 percentile have a chance for acceptance? God's will and your prayers. Nothing is
Well, for the OH, no. For the ETS, maybe if your combined score is competitive enough, then
Yeah.
yes, you might get filtered into the latter stages.
If you are a local graduate, maybe, but if you are an IMG, could be a little bit tough. As an IMG after internship, can I get into GP pathway, and how can I get a license after internship? You can get into GP pathway. You need to do the examination for that. As we said, the information is available online. I'm not familiar with it, but it's an exam, and there are certain requirements in order to work as a GP. Most importantly, you need to have 2 years of experience. After internship directly, you will not be allowed to work as a GP. You will not be guaranteed a license. Does DOH require letters of recommendations? No, but my advice, have on your hand letters of recommendation. If I graduated from a country and did my internship in another country, do I have to do 2 MOE data flow on each? I cannot answer that question. Ahmed?
I think, sorry, I'm not.
No, go
Oh,
on,
Dalal,
Dr. Dalal.
anyone?
Yeah.
I think this
Yeah,
is
you
a sophisticated question for us. I think it's better to contact Dataflow themselves. You can go to Dataflow website and raise a ticket and ask Ahmed if you have any other answer, please do answer.
But I know I actually personally I didn't apply for EHS, but you can actually do like a transfer of case or case transfer.
Yep.
If you applied for the same country, like for example, you applied for a health authority in Dubai, you can also transfer it to health authority in Abu Dhabi.
I personally transferred my residence license for DHA because we have rotations in Dubai as part of our emergency medicine program. So that case transfer, now that you reminded me, Ahmed, is something that you can do, but you need to have it in one system that's accepted and all check marked first, and then you do the case transfer. Yep, absolutely correct.
I suggest you guys, you don't bother with data flow because this is literally the last step. The last thing you worry about is the data flow. What's really important to you is how you strengthen your application, because you have to keep in your mind that the graduates of the UAE College of Medicine are actually very strong and they give them the priority. So you really need to be as competitive as them, or even you beat them. So you can get the at least you can reach the stage of the personal interview. Data flow will be dealt either by the authority itself, or you just can apply for it and you upload the document and it will take care of it. But the issue is how to pass the MBRU exam with the highest possible grade, how to achieve the highest possible portfolio grade, and how to pass the MMI, and then how to make sure that the personal interview is really went well. Then the data flow and the health license, because we received so many questions about the health license. Health license is very simple. You really don't need to worry about health license, sponsor visa, data flow, because it can happen automatically, But the issue is really with the examination and the filtering process. This is my advice.
Absolutely, Ahmed. If anything, I will second that and third that. This talk today was was just an introduction, about what happened and how can you tackle every and each step. Now that you have opened your eyes, you can go on and dive into the resources, the application process, what to prepare for, and preparing your documents and whatsoever. We hope and inshallah we have added something to you that's new. And as we said, our emails and contacts are here. we really would like to thank the international office for giving us this opportunity. وخيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه وخيركم من تعلم العلم وعلمه. فمن هذا الموضوع من هذا الباب يعني thank you so much everyone for listening and attending. Dalal, thank you so much for doing the bulk of the presentation. To be honest,
Yeah.
Ahmed, you're invaluable.
Really, thank you.
Yeah, your invaluable inputs regarding the delicacy of the process is unmatchable. And international office really, Safia, Miriam, and the rest of people that I'm sorry if I don't, remember your names. But thank you so much for giving us the platform to give our experience to people. And by that, I'd like just to invite the Safia to come back to, end the session if you don't mind.
I would like to add 3 points.
Yes, Dalal, تفضلي. Sorry.
No, it's okay. First of all, thank you, Dr. Elhaitham. He was our main source for me and for Dr. Ahmed. So thank you very much, Dr. Jazakallah khair.
Definitely.
You really supported
Yeah.
us throughout the whole
Process.
pathway.
No worries, guys.
فالله يجزيك الخير ودائما دعواتنا يعني إلك. Second thing, I think the lecture itself was a bit heavy. Maybe it's something new, something we don't know details about. But we left our contacts. Personally, I wouldn't mind even if you send me 10 emails per day. I'm more than happy to answer. Third thing, exactly 1 year from now, I thought that I will never be accepted under any residency program. I was extremely hopeless. Exactly 1 year from now. And it took me maybe 3 weeks to figure out all of the residency thing and even preparing for the exam and doing everything from A to Z. So I would thank Dr. Elhaitham again, and Dr. Ahmed was really supportive and we were figuring out the pathway together. But don't be hopeless. If you have any door to knock, then try knocking it, and you never know where is the khira يعني. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dalal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dalal. Thank you so much, and I wish everyone the best of luck. And I'm quite sure that you will make it, either in the UAE or either in the Qatar or either in the US or the UK. As long as you are dedicated to pursue your postgraduate medical education or residency training program, you will get it. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how the obstacles you are. Actually, there was an interesting question from a Sudanese graduate I can't remember it exactly, but I can say what I understood. That he said that what are the odds from Sudan to Dubai? I felt like he's kind of overwhelmed, but I'm not sure if he's attending this meeting or not. But I'd like to say to you that as long as you are dedicated to continue and to pursue your postgraduate medical education residency program, you will be able to be in Dubai or you'll be able to be in the United States or in the UK. Because it's not a miracle and it's not a rocket science, as they said. There are certain requirements. You have been through this for 5 years, 6 years, you have been studying medicine. And there is a purpose of being enrolled in the College of Medicine. So now it's not the time to feel hopeless or not time to feel that you are not able to pursue the career. Because if that's the case, then why have you been studying for the 6 years? So it's just an exam, similarly exam. And by the way, for people who are not able to do the Emirates exam, either for traveling restrictions or traveling status, or they didn't even find a spot or a time, just do the SMLE, because Saudi medical license examination is available around the world. You can do it. Just apply for the eligibility, and you can do it through Prometric, either in Sudan or Egypt or in Saudi or UAE. There are many different spots you can do the SMLE. So don't lose hope. Just make sure that you have the trust in God that this pathway you really want it, and you will fight for it, and you will get accepted for that, for sure. إن شاء الله تعالى. And wish you all the best. ونسمعكم إن شاء الله أخبار طيبة بإذن الله تعالى.
إن شاء الله. Yeah.
Thank you so much, doctors, for your informative presentation. I'm sure everyone in the audience found it extremely beneficial, and we truly value your guidance and experience. As to everyone else in the audience, thank you so much for joining us, and our team hopes that you found this session as beneficial as we did. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat below, or you can directly unmute and ask your questions. And also, before we leave, please make sure to follow us on our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel to not miss out on any of our future updates about upcoming events. And if you have any further questions or would like to contact us in the future, you can do so using the following link in the screen. And once again, thank you so much, doctors and everyone else in the audience. And we hope to see you again in our future webinars. Have a wonderful night. Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Marwa. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bye bye.